Mr. Speaker, Manitobans have been concerned for some time about the contracting policies of this government, and for good reason. The $100 million STARS contract was not tendered. The property registry was privatized without accepting public bids. And now we learn that based on its low bid, PCL Constructors was initially awarded the contract for the new health centre in Selkirk. But the government cancelled that contract and awarded it to a firm which was not even one of the original 3 bidders on the tender. I ask the Premier, why did this government first award and then cancel the contract for the new Selkirk Health Centre with PCL Constructors?
Speaker, I'm very pleased that the hospital in Selkirk is going ahead, Mr. Speaker. This is going to be an important facility to serve the people not only of Selkirk, but to serve the people of the Interlake. And Mr. Speaker, with respect to the specifics, information will be provided to the member on that, but I understand that legal advice was received and proper procedures were followed based on that legal advice, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, proper procedures were not followed to start with.
Never.
There were many delays in the construction of the new Selkirk Health Centre, which was set to begin in 2011, but which actually began 3 years later. We know that the dispute between the Interlake-Eastern Regional Health Authority and PCL was a situation which one government civil servant referred to as an ugly file, was settled out of court. Just like the STARS contract and the sale of the property registry, Manitobans want to know the extra cost of today's NDP government's unfair business practices. I asked the Premier what was the additional cost to Manitobans because of the questionable tendering process used with the new Selkirk Health Centre.
I answered the member's question. Decisions were made based on the best legal advice that we received with respect to that facility. I'm pleased that hospital is being built, Mr. Speaker. There's a real contrast. They promised a hospital 10 times in Brandon, Manitoba. It never got started. It's now built and functioning. The Selkirk Hospital will be built and function. Yesterday I was in the constituency of Midland in Notre-Dame-de-Lourdes, where we're building a small new tertiary care hospital, Mr. Speaker, in Notre-Dame-de-Lourdes. That facility has been tendered. It will be built, Mr. Speaker. We're building quick care clinics. We're building access centers. We're hiring nurses. We're hiring doctors. And what will the members opposite do in the face of all that progress? They'll vote against the budget, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, the Premier dismisses my concerns, and yet it was such a serious matter that PCL launched a lawsuit against the Interlake-Eastern Regional Health Authority, alleging that it had cancelled the tender on false and misleading grounds. A lawsuit that the Interlake-Eastern RHA denies ever happened, according to this FIPA. And yet, I ask the Premier, what is the Interlake-Eastern RHA, under today's NDP, trying to hide by denying the lawsuit when we have evidence that the lawsuit was initiated, and I table that evidence, Mr. Speaker?
Hear, hear. Oh, I don't know nothing about it, he says.
The Honourable First Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm reviewing the information here, and it confirms, Mr. Speaker, that we received legal advice on how to proceed with this matter, and that legal advice was followed. And we now have a hospital being constructed in Selkirk. We didn't make any excuses to that. We found a way to move forward to ensure the people of the Interlake, the people of Selkirk, have that critical care facility built so they will get the health care that they need. And the members opposite, whether they're the opposition or the member from River Heights, they will look for excuses to vote against those facilities. We'll find reasons to get them built, Mr. Speaker.